new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Good morning to all our viewers. Welcome to the Tollgate Farm Park in Northwind here in the greater Seattle area. We are here for the game 2 of double headers between the visiting team Silicon Valley Strikers versus the home team Seattle Thunderbolts. This is a game part of the Western Division of the Pacific Conference of Toyota Minor League Cricket 2022, brought to you by Sunoco. The news from the venue here is that Seattle Thunderbolts have won the toss, and like yesterday have chosen to field first. They put the strikers into bat, and the teams are all set. The weather is great today. There's no clouds whatsoever. The sun is belting down. Just took a look at the wicket. It's a dry, kind of a dusty surface, but we can expect a very similar kind of movement like yesterday, where the ball was gripping. If it was bowled slow or it was bumped into the wicket, there was a slight degree of grip, and the ball was stopping and coming. So for the slower bowlers, there was a lot of purchase here, and initially, because of the clouds, there was a bit of swing yesterday, so it would be interesting to see how it behaves today. But it's great cricket conditions, and I welcome all the viewers who are watching it on the telly, and we hope to bring you another riveting contest here after all the thrilling, all the thrills and spills that was there yesterday. So from the team's perspective, the Seattle Thunderbolts are unchanged. They're going with the same team as yesterday, whereas the Silicon Valley Strikers have made one change, and they brought in Kulwinder Singh in place of the Afghan Zahid Zakhil. It was interesting yesterday. I was reading crickbuzz.com, an article and the story of Zahid Zakhil, written by Smith Patel. It's a story of Zahid's struggles to come out of Afghanistan and move to United States, not in the most ideal circumstances, and eventually following his heart and passion of playing cricket. A remarkable story that came up. So he's not playing today, but here we are, all set for the first ball of the match. Shadley is bowling to the new batsman, the new opener. Yesterday there was Zahid Zakhil and Mukchand, and today they are opening with Rahul Jariwala and Unmukhchand. So Rahul is on strike. He's a young young under-19 talent for the Strikers. That's pretty up in the air to the third man fence, but that's well fielded there. The ball was up in the air for a slight second or two. We already see there's a bit of bounce on the wicket, but there was a lot of width offered, and the batsman took it up, slashing hard at it, and it flew above the slips to the third man for opening the account for Jariwala as well as for Strikers. It was an uncharacteristically slow and sedate innings yesterday, but somehow for some heroics towards the end, the Strikers were able to manage a score of 130, and they were able to masterfully defend that to win the game. Mukchand, oh, that's a catch! Going down. The actors were same as yesterday. It was Unmukhchand playing it in the air, and it was Adam Crosswaith who had taken his catch yesterday. But this time, his outstretched hands couldn't pluck it out of the thin air, and that will go down as a chance, and a chance one has to see if it would cost the Thunderbolts heavily. We can already see some shots being played out here. Misfield, a bit of sloppiness there by Akhilesh Borugam, giving Rahul Jariwala yet another single. yesterday's performance would obviously be auguring, will be playing on the minds of the Thunderbolts team. It was a match to be won for them, which they probably lost it because of their poor discipline in some of the shot making. So they would like to make amends today. And we already see some swing. That ball came in against the expectation of the batsman. We got him in an awkward position. Stifled appeal, but no harm done there. Signaled a leg by umpire Spandiar. Umpire Adipalli, I beg your pardon. That's the end of the first over. And it's...
1, 2, 3.
Akhilesh Bodugam starting the second over. This has been the standard ploy that Harmeet Singh, the skipper of Seattle Thunderbolts, have adopted for so many games. He starts with Shadley from one end with his seam bowling, and from the other starts immediately with the spin. Spin has been the prime forte of the Seattle Thunderbolts team. They have two seamers in their ranks, in Shadley and Samadhri, and Funny comes in towards and bowls typically towards the end of the innings. So it's the slow spinners who do majority of the bowling at the initial stages. Akhilesh has shown a lot of heart. It's not easy to come in the power play to bowl when the batsmen are trying to exploit the gaps in the field. But he is bowled with a lot of heart, a lot of guile. Massive appeal there. That probably is missing the leg stump. It was pitching on the leg stump, so it was there's a bit of movement there. As I had mentioned, it's a dry wicket. There's a lot of purchase there for spinners. And the umpires would have that on their mind when they're making a decision for leg before, because there is definitely going to be movement for the tweakers. Oh, that's outside the off stump again. This is another ploy that Thunderbolts have used consistently, keeping a couple of fielders square on the offside behind the wicket and bowling just outside the off stump, asking the batsman to take the risk with a slip in play as well. This time on the leg side, pushing it towards the short mid-wicket position. Andreas Gauss there doing the cleanup, no run. The slip is taken off now and it's been pushed towards the third man region. So once again, tantalizing line outside the off stump, asking the batsman to take the chances. After 2 overs, it's 5 without loss.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Shadley won short quick. starting his second over from the southern end. It's bowling to Mukchand. Yesterday we had a little ceremony here with the city council officials visiting the ground to inaugurate this first natural turf pitch. And that's a huge shot by Shadley. That ball hits the stumps, but again the umpire unmoved. Despite the touch, there was a lot of desperation in that appeal. For the umpire, it's missing the leg, but it was thudding into the pads, and the ball was seaming into the stumps. Already a couple of appeals in this, and a couple of pretty vociferous appeals by the Thunderbolts, and this one had a lot more conviction than the previous one. It also is because it's a very crucial wicket for them on Mukchand. Oh, this time the ball going out, so that's the initial swing we were talking about, which we saw yesterday. There's a little bit of breeze that is blowing here across the field, and that's enough for the bowler to get some purchase and some swing through the air. We saw a couple of balls that came in, caused some problems, and this time he took the ball away, causing a little bit of doubt in the batsman's mind and pushing them and pushing him to commit to a shot. Oh, once again, there was a lovely swing in that ball. He's bowling with a great shape, taking the outside edge, eluding the outstretched arms of the slip fielder. It was up in the air, or it was in the air, for that matter. Wasn't a chance though, but certainly it was a moral victory for the bowler to have foxed the batsman a bit, committing into a shot and taking the outside edge. The slips have been pushed a little wider, touch wider, probably, for this ball now. And that's a bit of a bluff there. The slip was moved out. Batsman thinking it will go out for an outswinger, but the ball came in. Once again, it was probably doing a little bit more, missing the leg stump. So Shadley is a wonderful swing bowler, and whenever there's conditions like this, especially a natural turf wicket with some movement off the surface and the conditions cooler with a little bit of breeze blowing, these are ideal conditions for swing bowling out here. Now this time it's a bit of shot, and Jariwala was waiting for a ball like that. So amidst all the tight line length that he was bowling, this was a bit of a hit me kind of a ball, and Rahul Jariwala gladly accepts it, 10 without loss after 3.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
The Thunderbolts bowled with 5 bowlers yesterday. It was Shadley, Akhilesh Bodugam, Harmeet Singh, Rishi Bhardwaj, and Fani Samadhri. Those would be their five top options. There's always Rohan Pasanapalli who can come in with the over or 2. Once again, not much pace in those balls. It doesn't give enough for the batsman to feed on. So batsman has to create the gap and create the pace. That's the ploy. Akhilesh, he's got a lot of variation in the air. He's got a lot of variation in terms of his length. Oh, that's a bit of a tweaker up in the air, and that's gone. That's the first wicket. Rahul Jariwala, once again from the back foot, a ball that was slightly short of length. His eyes lit up for a shot, but the ball came in slightly later. It was stopped and came. He was late on the shot, and he lobbed it up for an easy, absolutely easy, a dolly of a catch to the skipper Harmeet Singh. So first wicket gone for the strikers. It's 10 for 1. It's 11 for 1. That brings Surya into the middle. And that also brings a left and right in combination, which will obviously make the bowlers think. But Akhilesh Bodugam, another consistent wicket taker for Thunderbolts, is already in the wickets today. And some of the kind of starts strikers would have looked for. Once again, their run rate isn't so great. They're already in the 4th over. And they're barely going about 2 point something. So Surya getting set for starting an innings. Oh, that's a bit of drift. Clearly beaten the outside edge. Akhilesh Bodugam, he's bowling brilliantly here. He's using the flight well. He's using his length well. He's not giving too much of pace to the batsman to play. Mind you, Surya, he is the topmost run scorer in the minor league cricket, in the minor league edition this year. He did not have a great game yesterday, so obviously he would be hungry for some runs again, continuing on that great form. In fact, these are the 2 top scorers for the strikers this season. Mukchand had a great last season as well. He had a great first game this season, 94. And Surya has got 100. So this is the pair for Thunderbolts to really go after. If they can pick up one or both of them, they can surely count themselves with another opportunity to get the strikers limited to a modest total today. A bit of uncertainty there in the running between the wicket. The ball had crossed the third-man fielder. Unmukt wanted a run, but Surya wasn't sure about it. Clear no from him. And that's up in the air. Once again, an opportunity. Rohan Posanapalli doesn't make a mistake, and that's a key, crucial wicket there. Mukchand for a consecutive second game, falling to the trap of trying to up the ante. The pressure was on. He had already faced about 9 deliveries and wasn't going anywhere. He had to take a chance somewhere. The situation got the better of him. Played in the air, and a very safe and easy catch by Rohan at the long on fence. And so that's a second wicket down for the strikers. Thunderbolts are surely, well and truly, having an upper hand here. There is nothing like putting pressure and creating a scoreboard pressure on the opposition. And that's exactly what the ploy has been. We saw yesterday 2. Thunderbolts did not give any easy runs in the first few overs, and that resulted in some early wickets for them. It's a similar script here today. How big a wicket is that? Mukchand. Because if he could have got in, he usually converts his starts into big scores. So that's probably a huge, the celebration out there from the team showed how important that wicket was. So after 4 overs, it's 12 for 2. It's barely a run rate of 3 now, and 2 wickets already done. That's a fantastic shot. First ball from Shadley, and it's been dispatched straight down the wicket behind the bowler for 4. That's a stroke of authority from Surya. He's not going to have anything distract him. He knows there are a couple of wickets which is down, but he's probably going to back his instincts and form and start picking up runs for himself. He didn't have a great strike rate yesterday, but he hung around. Well, that was a ball that came in, this time to the left-hander, barely missing the stump. The grimace on Shadley's face clearly depicts how closely it went over the stumps. Both the opening bowlers starting very well, asking a lot of tough questions, not giving away anything easy. Once again, there's a tight line there, just outside the off stump, bringing the ball in. Surya, whenever you give him a little bit of a width, he's quick to pounce upon them, but the best way to keep him quiet is to bowl stump to stump, and that's what Shadley is doing, is bring the ball in. It's something that perilously close to the stump's leave the prior delivery would have put some doubts in his mind, so he's going to play every shot. This is slightly wide of the off stump, and Shehan plays that shot, takes a single, and that was a little closer than expected. The new batsman, Surya, he was struggling to get to the crease. A slight 2% chance there for a run out. But all's good at this point. Surya, those who have seen the match yesterday, he practically did everything single-handedly. Top scored for strikers, picked up a fifer to demolish the Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts were 94 for 2. Or 92 for 4. I beg your pardon. And from there, they folded down to 103 all out. Huge hand there played by Surya. So now he's getting ready for his first ball. Once again, that's a lovely piece of line there from Shadley outside the off stump. Slightly short of length. It's a length very difficult to play by the batsman. Comes at a height that is not too high, neither it's too low. The batsman has to commit in a slightly awkward height. Misses the outside edge. Certainly not the kind of ball that any new batsman would want to face first up. That's a tight third over from Shadley. It's 17 for 2 after 5.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Akhilesh starting his third over. That's a slightly shoddy fielding there by there in the gully, or rather cover point, and it's chased down on the boundary line. Definitely not the best of fielding there in these kind of circumstances, with the run rate is not too high. The Thunderbolts is having the opposition a bit of a check. You would expect some tight fielding from the fielders to increase the pressure. It's a huge bonus if two of your frontline bowlers can give you 6 overs up front with absolutely nothing on the scoreboard and a couple of wickets. The rest of the bowlers have a great foundation to come and then express themselves. Once again, those are some outstanding figures out there from Akhilesh Bodugams. He's in his third over, 2 for 6. He's bowling slight leg breaks out there right now, and steered down to the third man for a couple of runs. So there's nothing massively aggressive from the batsman at this point. It's just a few pushes and nudges, runs coming in singles and twos. Barely a boundary or two has happened till now. So this is a very, very quiet start that strikers have had so far. And this was a ball that came in. There's a lot of variations. His stock ball is to go outside and leave the right-handed batsman, but often he brings in a couple of those balls inside, and that foxes the batsman. Once again, this time slight doubt in the batsman's mind, and when you are in doubt, you usually bring out the sweep shot, and this time it was played well into the gap around the square leg fence for 4. That's a welcome boundary for the strikers. The end of 6 overs, it's 26 for 2. So the power play has been done. It's 26 for 2. At a run rate of 4.3. It's hardly a T20 run rate, but that's been the quality of bowling from the Thunderbolts thus far. Rishi starts his first over now. It's the first change. We've had Akhilesh and Shadley completing 3 overs apiece. This wicket is apt for the slower bowlers, and Thunderbolts have a lot of them. And Rishi is continuing the good work that Shadley and Akhilesh have done so far. He isn't giving anything for the batsman to go for. But as I say that, that's the first loose ball that he dished out, and Shehan Surya was waiting for that. Yeah, that's a clear hoik to a little gap that is there in the cover, between the cover and the mid-off, for a smashing 4. I'm joined by Jagan Namani. It's going to be my co-commentator today. Jagan, how do you see the game today? going to join us just in a minute. Oh, that was a lovely ball that just pitched on the off stump and he took it away from the batsman. So Surya was committed for that shot, but missed out. All ends up.
Yeah, the game should be good.
Mm-hmm.
The conditions are excellent. Nice sun, light breeze. The pitch is exactly going to act the way it did yesterday. So we should expect a 130 score out here to be a good score. And if Thunderbolts bat sensibly, they can also score those runs out there. So nothing different since yesterday. And definitely a must-win match for Thunderbolts. That they have to keep their championship dreams alive. So hoping that they would do that.
Yes, totally agree. I think yesterday there was no demons in the wicket. Their chase was completely under control before some of the shot selection would be something that would be a topic of conversation in the dugout. But this wicket is definitely conducive for the slower bowlers, the spinners. There's a lot. And the batsmen have to take their chances. That's again one of those perilous runs. It was just dabbed into the closed circle and a single taken. Wicketkeeper Prijit Moody did try hitting the stumps, but the batsman was already in. So that's the end of the over. After 7, it's 32 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
We have a good turnout, decent turnout out here. Some of the people we see here were there yesterday as well, so they are clearly hooked onto the game. Next time they brought their own chairs and, relaxing, enjoying the beautiful weather.
That's the beauty of a Sunday game. Community comes out, almost bringing their Sunday picnic basket along with them. A lovely day to do some of that. It's a lovely place to do some of that. A view of this Mount Si. And the vistas all around. Bring your pets out here. Bring some of the lunch fares and just have a lovely day here with a good game of cricket and ahead of you. You did speak about the par score here. I think we were not knowing what kind of par score it would be. In the meantime, as we speak about, that's played up in the air, but it beats the fielder.
And it hits the cameraman.
Hits the cameraman. That's outside the boundary. That's another boundary. So a couple of big shots coming up. A little bit of urgency shown by the batsman, Shreyan Jayasuriya. He's coming into the elements now. He's had a fantastic tournament so far, so it's not surprising one bit. As I was saying, it was unknown till yesterday what was a par score would be. But after yesterday's game, it does appear that this is a wicket where we won't see probably all scores like 160s or 170s. It's going to be 120, 130 kind of wicket, but that's kind of score will keep the strikers interested from what has happened yesterday. They do have a couple of very good spinners in their ranks as well, but they are a little heavy on the faster side or seamers, and that would be a good opportunity for Thunderbolts. So that's the end of the over there. After 8, it is 37 for 2.
Hey, Lucia, any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
Rishi Bhardwaj starting his second over. First went for just 6 runs. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. That was pitched outside, slide on the off stump. Surya expected the ball to go away, made room for a cut shot, and the ball came in. The question asked by Rishi was whether did the ball hit the pads first rather than the bat. Oh, this time it was a little more over-pitched, and Surya picked it up and deposited over the mid-wicket fence. 6. That's the first big 6 of the day, and we'll see a few. And isn't that much revered wicket of the farm where we had lost the ball a couple of times yesterday? As the ball comes up, we'll take a little break. 43 for 2.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Looks like the kids have their own minor league game going on out there.
Oh, that's probably the best thing about these kind of these leagues.
Yeah.
The idea is to build a domestic infrastructure, but it's also about infusing the interest into the next generation. It's good to see some of the kids coming up and using chairs as stumps and just having a ball of a time. Hope in the next few years some of these kids grow on to be some promising talent in the youth system, then eventually playing minor leagues. That's the way the sport will grow here. There's a lot of positive interest, especially in the Pacific Northwest area.
We're surrounded with beautiful mountains out here on all sides, like but for one side, I would say. And now we are seeing the mountains that are behind us in the ground. And then some of the mountains on the side of us, you know. And these are beautiful mountains with, some of the mountains have lakes on top.
Oh, nice.
Some of the mountains have no lakes right in the middle of the mountains. And back to the game.
Oh, that's a back-to-back boundaries there. Surya is toying with the bowling at present. He's clearly come with a different mindset today. He was a little suffocated in his batting yesterday. He wasn't able to open up and go with his shots. And today, he's clearly showing he has different intentions. He's moved out on 29. And he's clearly taken a liking to Rishi Bhardwaj this over. 6 and a 4.
The scoring worm is taking a vertical climb right now.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that was up in the air again. There was a call for catch it, but it was some distance away from Adam Crossway. It played efficiently in the gap. There was nobody there. Once again, a boundary. 3 boundaries on the trot, a 6, 4, and 4. And that's the 50 up for the strikers. They have catapulted the score suddenly this over. The run rate suddenly stuck up to 6. They were hovering around 4 and thereabouts, just about an over back. And now it's Shehan Surya's picked up the urgency. Oh, this time it's a huge question asked by Rishi Bhardwaj. It's a play and a miss. The ball came a little slow off the wicket. Beat the batsman. The umpire clearly indicating the ball is missing the off stump. Rishi is a passionate cricketer. He is still having those conversations with the umpire, trying to reason out the geometry of the ball. Obviously, the umpire would have none of it. A strong breeze blowing across the ground that would potentially either aid or impact the line length of the bowler. But this time the ball drifting down the leg side. And Surya has pushed it into the real estate of the shot on the close in on the leg side and picked up two runs. So at the end of 9 overs, it's 53 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
$53 for 2 after 9 overs. Was an expensive last over from Rishi Bhardwaj. 16 runs in that over. Harmeet Singh inevitably is the bowler who, when his team needs it, comes up with something, pulls a rabbit out of the hat. A wicket or two. Is vastly experienced. A lot of variations. Aggressive in his own mindset. Oh, that's a lovely turn there, as I was speaking. If anyone who can extract best turn from this wicket, it would be him.
Definitely beats Pranay right after the ball, which is, he probably did not expect that level of turn from the ball.
I love the action of Harmeet Singh. It's very traditional. Almost bowlers with those kind of actions used to be in the olden days of Bishan Singh Bedi and others. We would see those kind of actions. So he's kind of got that traditional way of bowling left arm spin. Has a lot of guile. Uses the flight very judiciously. It's a lot of turn. He doesn't bowl too many straight balls, but he uses the traditional spin and the armers.
Lucky for Harmeet, that one didn't turn.
That one didn't turn.
Because if it had turned, it would have come straight onto the bat of Rehan Surya. Would have been a good shot.
This time, Surya was able to wait a little more and scoop it above in the vacant area behind the wicket-keeper. It's too straight. The fielder from fine leg covers ground and is able to limit them to just 3 runs and not give a 4 there. Now that was some innovation by the batsman. So Jayasuriya is definitely using his intelligence as a batsman here. He's got a different mindset altogether today. He's wanting to not lose the momentum. That's something that strikers did not do too well yesterday. They lost the momentum in the middle. Thanks to Gary Graham, they got some of it back at the end, but today they would like to keep the momentum up. So that's again a stifled shot. Did not give too much room to the batsman. No run taken. 57 for 2 after 10. That brings a bowling change now. After 10 overs, it's 57 for 2, and it's a time for Samadhri to start his action for the day. He's been seriously in wickets this season. He's been a tad expensive, but I would say he has purchased his wickets at a cost, but he's purchased wickets at the right time and created results for his team. His impact has been solid. 22 wickets so far in the tournament. Definitely an important stage of the game here. That was interesting. That was a very interesting stance, Shehan Surya.
Shehan seems to be liking that shot. Only 3 times has gone for it. And maybe Shehan's thinking that Funny is not fast enough, that he could try that shot on him.
It wasn't even a switch hit. It was just a straight bat. He was just standing there with the bat holding the bat like a shovel. He could have gone any side and eventually missing it out. Clearly unbalanced. This is a wonderful format, T20. We get to see a lot of innovation both from bowlers and the batters. But sometimes one also tends to get the feeling that the traditional cricket eventually gets higher rewards. And the innovation can get you a few opportunistic shots, but eventually will not come off too often.
Well, till it comes off, it gets a scoring worm ticking up. Well, the job done then. Especially with Silicon Valley strikers and the kind of batting lineup that they have, Shehan Surya can definitely take that kind of a risk when 2 wickets are down.
Yeah. Oh, that's outside the leg stump and beating everybody. That's a risk always, standing up on the stumps for a faster bowler. A little, that puts the pressure on the bowler to bowl with the right length and line. There's a little err in the line. There's always the risk of beating the batsman, the wicket keeper. That's what happened out here. These are free runs that Seattle Thunderbolts cannot afford at this point. All of these runs would add to their workload of chasing them down when they come back to bat. So there's a lot of cutters that Funny Samadhri bowls, and that causes the wicket keeper to stand up. So Funny will have to keep the line highly disciplined here. A little bit of a field change there from Harmeet. Is bolstering the offside by sending fielders onto the boundary lines. That's the ploy is to probably bowl a little wider on the offside, and that's what the stuck is. And he's already got a reward out of that. He gets Pranay Suri to play a shot. That was a ploy. That was a solid ploy by the captain and the bowler, trying to bowl a little outside the off stump, slightly wider, enticing the batsman to go for a shot. He did, and fall into the trap. Caught on the long off fence. That's a wicket that would be welcomed by the Seattle Thunderbolts at this stage, and the excitement and the exultation by the bowler clearly signified that that was a plan that came off and came off right away. And that's quite satisfactory when such things happen. 62 for 3 after 11.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
There's a lot of excitement and energy on the ground as the spectators keep building up. There's music, there is fanfare. Always a welcome sight for a good week in cricket. And on the field, there was some good plotting and strategizing by the Thunderbolts, and it resulted in a wicket. A welcome wicket for them, 62 for 3. Strikers have Surya, who's going well, and he's joined by Raymond Rifer. Rishi changing ends. He had an expensive second over when Surya took a liking to him. So it's again, he's bowling to Surya now, who will probably try and alter his approach now, considering he lost his partner Pranay Suri. But at the same time, it would be also working on his mind that the run rate is just about 5.6, which is at best very modest. Samadhri, that man, once again in wickets. Cross-batted swipe by Surya, negating the spin. Captain Harmeet Singh urging Rishi Bhardwaj that close in fielding with fielders on the boundary. It's the bowler's job to run and field in the close in field and not have the wicket keeper with pads on run and do that. That's some wise advice by the captain to create some urgency amongst the fielders. Oh, that's timed wonderfully well through the covers as Adam Crossway tried to stop it, but that ball left like a cannon and thudded outside the boundary line. Another 4. Surya is going at a solid pace. He is above 40 now. It's 45, 34. That's a bit of a short of length ball. Plays it from the back foot to the mid-wicket boundary for a single. Runs coming thick and fast, but runs coming from just one bat right now, which is Surya. So there should be other batters who will have to probably take a bit of workload if strikers have to post a respectable score here. Thunderbolts aren't going to make it easy. They're not going to give them any pace. Surya has the power. He generates a lot of power from his bat speed, which is what is getting him some big shots. Raymond Rifer is off the mark with that little nudge towards long on. And that's the end of the over from Rishi Bhardwaj. It's after 12, it's a 70 for 3.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
$70 for 3 after 12, and it's Akhilesh Bodugam coming from the southern end to finish off his spell. 3 overs, 2 for 12. Samadhri Harmeet Singh and Akhilesh Bodugam have been the primary wicket takers this season for Thunderbolts. And Akhilesh has continued that streak today. Oh, that was a gentle push, and a better effort was expected by the skipper there, conceding a single. And that's a wonderful ball there, slightly flighted, pulled the batsman into the shot, and took a faint outside edge. It's a classic spinner's dismissal. We rarely see this kind of a dismissal in T20 cricket, but that's a classic. That's again one of the things I would give attribute to the wicket. The wicket has got so much to offer for the spinners, and Akhilesh has used the conditions to his benefit, drew the batsman into a shot, and took the ball away. In the process, took a faint edge, and the wicketkeeper did the job. The umpire had no hesitation lifting the finger. A wicket gone, and a big wicket at that. Surya, and that would be a wicket that will give a huge amount of confidence to Thunderbolts. So after 12.2 overs, it's 71 for 4. That's a fantastic bowling, and Akhilesh Bodugam, it's grit captaincy too. Harmeet Singh bringing Akhilesh to just after a successful over from Funny Samadhri. Obviously, there would have been a temptation to continue with Funny, but in the process, he brought back Akhilesh, who responded to his captain's call with a wicket. And that to a wicket, prize scalp of Surya. So it's a fantastic change, really, for the Thunderbolts here. 71 for 4. It's tightly poised, this game. There is absolutely nothing that Akhilesh is giving in terms of his ball. He's got a lot of variations up his sleeve. Flights the ball, and and drifts it away from the batsman. There's already a lot of doubts cast in the batsman's mind. Roshan Primus is the new man in shirt number 33. He's already tried a couple of shots and played and missed them. That's the kind of confusion that Akhilesh can give him. This time it's a sweep shot again. That signifies the doubt in the batsman's mind, but also the desperation to score, and that's when the sweep shot comes out, negating the spin of the bowler, just getting to the pitch of the ball and swiping it towards the mid-wicket boundary. Just a single. The last ball of his spell, Akhilesh Bodugam, 3 for 14 so far. Absolutely given nothing today, and has created massive impact so far. Some frantic changes here for Raymond Reifer. Short cover point, and Reifer plays it defensively back to the bowler, and that's the end of the spell for Akhilesh Bodugam. Finishes with 3 for 14 from his 4. It's after 13. It is 72 for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Rishi Bhardwaj, 3 overs, 30 runs. He is starting from the northern end to finish his spell now. Bowling to a new batsman now, Roshan Primus, who flicks the ball towards the square leg fielder to open his 2-2, pick up a single. The call is to Rishi, as Harmeet Singh letting Rishi know that asking him to bowl a bunch of deliveries at Raymond Reifer, not letting him off the strike. And there clearly is, the plans worked. The right-handed spinner had an opportunity to make the left-handed batter play, and there was a vulnerability they spotted, and there was a frantic call from Harmeet that don't let him off the strike. That's exactly, he didn't have to do that though, but probably the expectation from Raymond Reifer was that Rishi would take the ball away from him, but it came in, caught him plumb in front of the stumps. The umpire, Reyes Pandya, had no hesitation in lifting the finger in a flash of a second. The classic spinner's dismissal once again. I would say the Thunderbolts have got into this game pretty well so far. They've got the measure of the strikers. They're using their spinners intelligently, and the spinners are responding with result as desired. So 73 for 5. It would be interesting to see how the strikers respond to this sudden collapse in their batting lineup. Srinivas Raghavan coming as a new batsman now, and spinners having a massive impact on the game here. Akhilesh Bodugam 3 wickets. Rishi Bhardwaj has picked up 1. Harmeet Singh still has 2 more overs to go. So there's a bit of tough questions, a few tough questions up the sleeves that Thunderbolts can ask this lineup of strikers. Once again, Rishi Bhardwaj there. There's a lot of spin on offer for the bowlers. If they can vary their length and the speed of the ball, and there's a lot that they can attain out of their bowling. This was slightly fuller, and outside the off stump, gave enough opportunity for the batsman to sight the ball, get to the pitch of it, and play a drive to the cover fence for a single. That gives Srinivas Raghavan opportunity to get off the mark. Once again, this was a sweep shot. Clearly, Roshan Primus is living dangerously out there. There is doubts clearly on his mind, so he wants to play the sweep shot to get out of jail. And missing it. The ball was missing the leg stump as well. A stifled appeal by Rishi. This time the length was altered. It was slightly short of length. Ball leaving the batsman. Primus had committed himself to a back-footed drive. He had to reach out to the ball. No score, no run added, and it's after 14 overs, 74 for 5.
Super is the world's most powerful field service management solution to work your way and drive more impact. As the most flexible and customizable app for your field operations, Super is field service your way. Learn more at super.co.
So the bowling figure, Shadley 3 for 13, 3 overs, 13 runs, no wicket. Akhilesh Bodugam's completed spell, 3 for 14. Rishi Bhardwaj 1 for 32 from his 4. Harmeet Singh just 9 runs from his 2 overs, and Funny Samadhri 1 for 5 from his 1. He's back in the attack now. And he's going to bowl to Srinivas Raghavan. Off cutters. Funny Samadhri is an excellent exponent of bowling that ball. And this is a wicket where he's going to get a lot of purchase for that ball. It foxes the batsman because it appears it's going to come at a speed, but after pitching, it's almost like a faster spin ball. And this time, the batsman tries to make a shot of it, but that's again the similar kind of shot that saw Surya, that saw a wicket a couple of overs back. Played in the air, but the fielder was too deep in the long off fence. That's a shot straight to the cover fielder, Adam Crossway. He's got a safe pair of hands there. Doesn't drop any that comes at him. A low catch. And that results in another wicket. A fantastic, fantastic breakthrough there once again. Committed the batsman into a shot. It was up in the air. Low catch. And Adam Crossway just completed a catch next to his bootlaces. A fantastic bowling there by Funny Samadhri, and it's 75 for 6. So wickets falling in a clump. 3 for 62, 4 for 71, 5 for 73, 6 for 75. It's in a matter of 13 runs. They've lost 4 wickets. Silicon Valley Strikers. The 15th over in progress, 75 for 6. Gary Graham, who had a aggressive stay at the wicket yesterday, and this time Funny Samadhri catches Gary straight in front of the stumps. No hesitation by the umpire. Given leg before wicket. Gary Graham yesterday had a fantastic stay at the wicket towards the end, getting some fast boundaries to get the score up to 130. Today, out first ball. Funny Samadhri is on a hat-trick. Once again, he's already taken one in this edition, and the score is 75 for 7. Who would have thought Silicon Valley Strikers would be struggling like this? But that's the beauty at which of the bowling and the fielding display by the Thunderbolts. They've come with a tremendous amount of resolve today. They've looked very restrictive, very disciplined in their overall approach, barring a few missed fields here and there. By and large, they've been very disciplined in the line and length. They haven't given anything away to the batsmen apart from a few chances taken by Surya. No other batsman felt completely confident against them. Their slow bowlers have bowled brilliantly well, and now Samadhri with his cutters and slower balls has been doing fantastic stuff for his team. 2 wickets on the trot, and he's on a hat-trick. As I remind you, he's already taken a hat-trick coming into this weekend, and everybody is on the edge as Saurabh Netravalkar, the new man, takes strike. Samadhri in. Oh, that was a short of length ball on the leg stump, and no harm done. So the hat-trick is not to be this time, but Samadhri's 3 wickets again. He is taking wickets for fun in this edition of minor league cricket. 25 wickets now. And that's a ball that pitched and just cocked up. That's a bit of variable bounce in the wicket. That's also adding to the confusion for the batsman. End of the over. It's 75 for 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So he's coming back into the attack. And Samadhri, the figures are 3 for 6 from his 2 overs. He's having an absolutely dream spell here. We were thinking Abhishek Bodugam had a wonderful spell. Samadhri just topped it. It's going to be very difficult to get away from here, although you never say never. But there is one thing to preserve your wicket. Srinivas Raghavan, he has a challenge on his hand. On one hand, there is some tough questions asked by the bowler. On the other hand, there would be the thought of upping the run rate because this isn't going anywhere. With the 16th over, the score is about 75. 7 wickets are down. It's a very challenging and interesting stage of the game, and that should be an easy run out. But the fielder, just making a hash of the entire thing. It was an easy pick up and throw. The batsman had given up. Srinivas Raghavan had committed into the run, which wasn't responded by the bowler, by the non-striker Saurabh Netravalkar, and the batsman had given up midway. But sadly, the fielder just could not pick it up and throw it to the wicket-keeper. So a reprieve for the batsman. And this is probably the best piece of news for strikers, the way things are going. That run out would have just toppled yet another wall for them. That was that rare piece of loss in concentration and the grip on this game by Thunderbolts. They've been brilliant today, all round. And once again, a lapse in concentration from Prajit Mudi behind the stumps. Harmeet Singh Fox, the batsman, beat them all ends up. The ball missed the stumps, leg stump by a whisker. It missed the wicket-keeper as well. So a couple of byes. Runs, any way they come, are welcome right now. So after 16, it is 77 for 7.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
.78 for 7 after 16. 4 overs remaining in this innings of the strikers. And for bowlers, it's going to be 2 overs from Funny Samadhri, 1 apiece from Harmeet and Shadley as Funny starts his 3rd over here. That's the urgency Harmeet was talking about a couple of overs back when he was admonishing Rishi to run and field of his bowling. Excellent example of that from Funny Samadhri. Sprinting on his own bowling towards the mid-wicket and making sure the throw returns and restricting the batsman to just 2. It's again a push to the cover boundary again that gives a single. Singles and 2s won't worry the Thunderbolts much, but they would also be worried of the fact that these last 4 overs, they will have to keep their discipline up. Yes, in the yesterday's game, they did see that they let the guard down a little, and Gary Graham made them pay. He put on about 20, 25 additional runs. That added a lot of pressure, scoreboard pressure from chase, and eventually was the margin by which Thunderbolts lost the game. So they have their opposition on the mat at this point, and they would like to finish the game off on a high, or finish the innings off on a high. Set themselves a modest chase in total. A big hoik from Srinivas Raghavan. The ball taking the outside edge was again one of those off cutters. Came slower than what the batsman expected. Took it outside edge, was up in the air. The third man was slightly deep. Rohan Pasanapalli was short third man, slightly deep. The ball fell short of him. Couldn't prevent the single. Netravalkar plays a back-footed cut shot towards the cover boundary. It's again the runs coming in singles and 2s, and that's the end of the over. It's 84 for 7.
One, two, three.
17 overs gone, 84 for 7. Strikers would be hoping if they can push the score to about 110, 120 thereabouts. Make these last 3 overs count. It's going to be tough to get Harmeet Singh off the park because he is a wily customer. And at this stage, the spinners are having a tight grip, and Funny Samadhri with his cutters is also causing some problems. So the only opportunity they might have is from the seaming option of Shadley. It's played up in the air, but safely done. Adam Crossweight cleans up from the long off fence. Once again, just a single. The singles are not going to be of any cause of bother for the Thunderbolts. There's big shots till the time they're not coming. They would be happy with the proceedings here. Once again, a nice arm ball that came into the stumps, missing the leg stump by a whisker. But once again, the wicket keeper wasn't able to collect it, giving an easy bye. Lots of pressure being exerted by Harmeet here. The situation is quite simple. The batsmen are looking for, and that's a clean bowled. From a distance, it appeared as if it missed the off stump, but the batsman was foxed with a ball that was pitched on the middle and took it slightly away from the batsman, pushing him to play a back-footed square of the wicket short, and he missing it completely to see his stumps uprooted. Again, a classic spinner's dismissal. This innings of strikers is not going anywhere. It's 87 for 8. There's a lot to cheer at the ground by the Seattle for the cheers, the Thunderbolts spectators. Their team is doing exceptionally well at this point of time. On the other hand, the strikers would want their team, the last couple of batsmen, to dig deep and get some runs to at least attain some degree of respectability, maybe 100, 105, 110. Kulwinder Singh is the new man coming in. $87 for 8. And we are on the verge of finishing the 18th over. Harmeet Singh has picked up his first wicket today. 1 for 13 from his 3.5 overs. It's wonderful to see the way he built up that over. And the last ball was a simple off spinner going up across the batsman. And so nothing added to the scoreboard after that, after 18 overs at 87 for 8.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Current run rate is 4.9, and we are already in the 19th over. It's funny, Samadhri starts his last over, and Saurabh Netravalkar opens his arm. The ball was up in the air. Rohan Pasanapalli gave a valiant attempt. Dive to his right-hand side, outstretched arms, the ball beating him. Could have been a fantastic catch. Rohan's already taken a stellar catch earlier in the tournament. That could have been another one, but that kind of eluded him. By and large, the fielding from Seattle Thunderbolts have been good. Parts they've been brilliant. There were a couple of occasions they've been about ordinary. But they've been keeping the pressure on because they've been picking up wickets at regular intervals. And Saurabh once again plays in the air, this time straight in the hands of Andreas House. Ninth wicket falls for Seattle, for Silicon Valley Strikers. The Thunderbolts are absolutely cock-a-hoop here. This was again the same line that Funny has been bowling all throughout. The off-cutter, leaving the right-handed batsman. But the situation just demanded that sort of through kitchen sink at everything. He did that. The previous ball, there was a little bit of a uppish shot that Rohan that avoided, that kind of missed the outstretched arms of Rohan. But this time it was straight into the hands of the gully fielder, Andreas Cow. So it's 89 for 9 as the last man walks in. This has been an absolute formidable performance by Thunderbolts here. Incredible to see how this innings is folded. Pranay Surya and Jayasuriya, son of Shehan Jayasuriya, were going relatively well. The score was 62 when the third wicket fell. And from there, it's 9 for 89 now. In a span of 26 runs, they have lost 7 wickets. And it's the spinners who've done the maximum damage. 5 wickets by the 3 spinners. And Funny Samadhri has picked up 4 wickets. Remarkable performance by Funny Samadhri for this team. Such a vital cog. He had a wonderful last season as well. Always a wicket taker. It'll be interesting to just understand his mindset, the way he comes in. He's got so many tricks up his sleeves. His bowls a line which is very difficult to get away with. At times on wickets that are slightly flat, he does go for some runs, but on a wicket like this, where there's a lot of movement, where he could get a lot of purchase from the wicket, he definitely asks a lot of questions. So that's the end of his spell. 4 for 14 from his 4 overs. He doesn't take 5 wickets, but it's no less than a 5-wicket haul out here. So after 19 overs, it is 89 for 9. So Shadley is back for his final over, and this is the final over of the Strikers innings. Which is clearly fallen off the cliff after having a rather promising start today compared to yesterday. It just went southwards, and I think there's a lot of credit goes to the way the Thunderbolts have bowled. Some really planful captaincy by Harmeet Singh, bringing the right changes the right time. Kulwinder plays it up in the air. It was a hike towards the mid-wicket. There's some real estate there as the fielder from there comes in. It wasn't a catch. The ball fell well short of the fielder there. But the intent is clear from Kulwinder. He has a potential to play some big shots. He definitely considers himself to be possessing the all-round capabilities. Dev Tadani is the 11th man. Oh, that was in York length from Shadley. The batsman could just put a dead bat to get that ball out of the hole. No opportunity for any runs in there. 90 for 9. How many more can the Strikers add to that score? Will it be a three-figure score at least? Oh, that's banged in, slightly short of length, played from the back foot. Just steered it to the third man for a single. You can sense the sense of urgency amongst the Thunderbolts fielder. They're not letting the momentum down at this point. They want to finish this innings without giving much from here on. Kulwinder once again opens his arm. This time it was a easy catch for James Crosswaith. Covered fence. He covered a lot of ground, came in, got under the ball, but it spilled out of his outstretched palms. That's a chance gone a-begging. It could have finished the striker's innings, but gave a couple of runs to Kulwinder, who's clearly, at this point, trying to cash in on the last few balls with some lusty hitting. Once again, a big heave, which at best is going to get them a single. The batsmen are running for the second run, which was easily collected by Prajit Puri behind the stumps. And he knocks the stumps off, and that's Kulwinder Singh run out. And that ends the innings of Silicon Valley Strikers. The score holding at the end of the innings, ending at 94. A performance that the Thunderbolts would be supremely proud of today. Coming on the back of being unable to chase the 130 of yesterday, they would have definitely wanted, after winning the toss, putting the strikers into bat, they would have definitely wanted to restrict the strikers to a little more lower score than yesterday, and they understood the condition well. They understood that spinners had the key to success of this game, and they did it incredibly well by restricting the opposition for just 94. 94. That's a score that strikers would probably feel they are not just short, they're well short of the par score here. It's a great opportunity for Thunderbolts today to go out there and earn two very, very crucial points against a very tough opposition, which would not just make them feel good from a points table perspective, but most importantly add a lot of confidence to their belief to face tougher oppositions and put one across them. From a batting standpoint, strikers, their innings doesn't have much to speak about except for this 46 from Surya. While he was at the crease, it almost seemed like he was playing on a different planet. But apart from him, the second highest score was Pranay Suri with 11, and no other batsman managed to score double figures. Rahul Jariwala 6, Unmukh Chand 4, Jayasuriya 46, Suri 11, Raifer 2, Primus 2, Srinivas Raghavan 8, Gary Graham was out first ball 0, Saurabh Netravalkar 6, Kulwinder Singh run out for the last wicket 4, and Dev Tadani was not out with 1. 94 runs, that's what the strikers have managed in their they couldn't even finish their entire 20 overs. For bowlers, Shadley 18 runs from his 3.5 overs. Akhilesh Bodugam 3 for 14 from his 4 overs. Rishi Bhardwaj 1 for 32 from his 4. Harmeet Singh 1 for 13 from his 4. And Samadhri, the man, 4 for 14 from his 4. So at the end, a professional performance by Seattle Thunderbolts. They have done the first half of the game completely blemishless. They certainly will have a few things to tinker, a couple of fielding lapses, but by and large they've kept their head on the ball and ensured that they had a tough opposition and strikers on the mat. Now it's all across. We'll have to wait and see how they go about chasing. There are a few vulnerabilities, but they would want to go and finish the game off without much to worry about. So we'll get set with the action. We see the rollers on the ground now as as the curators take care of the wicket to be ready for the second half of the match. We'll take a short break here and come back as the action resumes. On Mukchand. Oh, that's a catch. Going down. These are ideal conditions for swing bowling out here. Now this time it's a bit of a shot. And Jariwala was waiting for a ball like terms of his length. Oh, that's a bit of a tweaker up in the air, and that's gone. That's the first wicket. And that's up in the air. Once again, an opportunity. Rohan Posanapalli doesn't make a mistake. And a run rate of 3 now, and 2 wickets already done. That's a fantastic shot. First ball from Shadley, and it's been dispatched. Balls inside, and that foxes the batsman. Once again, this time, slight doubt in the batsman's mind, and when you are in doubt, you usually bring out the sweep shot, and this time it was played well into the gap. He isn't giving anything for the batsman to go for, but as I say that, that's the first loose ball that speak about the par score here. I think we were not knowing what kind of par score it would be. In the meantime, as we speak about, that's played up in the air, but it beats the... Oh, this time it was a little more overpitched, and Surya picked it up and deposited.
The game.
Oh, that's a back-to-back boundaries there. Surya is toying with the ball.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that was up in the air again. There was a call for catch it, but it was... Oh, that's outside the leg stump and beating everybody. That's a risk always. Standing is to probably bowl a little wider on the offside, and that's what the stuck is, and he's already got a reward out of that. He gets Pranay Suri to urgency amongst the fielders. Oh, that's timed wonderfully well through the covers as Adam Crossway tried to stop it, but that ball. And that's a wonderful ball there, slightly flighted. Raymond Rifer not letting him off the strike. And they're clearly... That's a shot straight to... We had a aggressive stay at the wicket yesterday. And this time, Funny Samadhri catches Gary straight in front of the stumps. No, the situation is quite simple. The batsmen are looking for... because they've been picking up wickets at regular intervals. And Saurabh once again plays in the air, this time straight in the hands of Andreas House. Once again, a big heave, which at best is going to get them a single. The batsmen are running for the second run, which was easily collected by Prajit Puri behind the stumps. And he knocks the stumps off, and that's Kulwinder Singh run out. And that ends the innings of...
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
So welcome back as we get started with the chase of Seattle Thunderbolts, and it's a very modest total that has been put forth by strikers today. It's a massive opportunity for Thunderbolts to see this game through. Saurabh Netrapalkar is going to start the proceedings, and Prajit Moody is the person is a batter on strike from the Thunderbolts side. It's again Saurabh Netrapalkar starting absolutely on mark. He bowled this line yesterday with impeccable precision, taking it across the right-handed batsman. At some point, he will probably wanting to bring one back as well. That would cause some degree of doubt in the batsman's mind. The one thing that was remarkably prominent yesterday was the intensity that Seattle, the Silicon Valley strikers brought to their fielding. They clearly knew that they were not defending a tall score, and they put in all the effort, and it eventually paid off because they created some pressure. They didn't give easy runs to the batsmen. That made the batsmen play those big, expansive shots, and thereby losing the eventual plot. This time again, Netrapalkar taking it across Prajit. It missed the edges, it missed the wicket keeper as well, so that was a easy buy. That kind of opens the account for the Thunderbolts in this chase. They need to score at a run rate of 4.9, and that's a pedestrian run rate, honestly. But funny things happen. That's what cricket is. Cricket is a game of uncertainties, and these low scores can create some degree of overt caution sometimes, and that can result in vulnerabilities. Andreas Haas pushing it to the mid-on, and quickly scampering for a single, so he's off the mark. Great atmosphere at the ground here. A sense of anticipation amongst the Thunderbolts supporters. Fantastic opportunity. Their bowlers have done the job. They have created a stellar opportunity here for the batsmen to go and seal the game off. Next 20 overs will say how they go about doing that. Good opportunity for Prajit Moody as well. He's got a few games to come and show his prowess as a batter. He had a good first season last year, played a few impactful innings. He has a great head above his shoulders. Can keep one end tied and hold one end for the batsman on the batter from the other end to go and score some faster runs. So he's going to be that anchor here for the Thunderbolt. So at the end of the first over, it's 2 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Kulwinder Singh is the other opening bowler for Strikers. He was brought and penciled into the side today in place of Zahid Zakil. Clearly, the plan was to bring in an additional bowler for the Strikers in place of a batsman. And that's a lovely drive from Andreas Kaus down the wicket. That's an absolute fluent drive. Picked up the ball pretty early. And there was absolutely no chance for Unmukh Chand at the mid-off to cut it off. So the first boundary coming up for Thunderbolts. And first boundary for Andreas Kaus. Besides the turn that this wicket has provided to the slower bowlers, it's also the uneven bounce that the wicket has produced that's caused some degree of confusion, doubts in the minds of the batsmen. Has got them to play false shots here. That was one of those there where the ball certainly did not come in at the pace that the batsman anticipated. And probably played it a little late. Almost played onto the stumps there. Fortuitous to have survived that. Silicon Valley Strikers is a formidable outfit. They are the defending champions of last season, and they haven't lost a game this year. So they clearly are a team that knows how to win games. And this was a short ball that came up on the leg stump, and that's the kind of ball Andreas Kaus thrives on. He is a batter who is not reluctant of playing the hook and the pull shot. And this time he picked it up pretty early. We just got a single there though, but it's a shot that was wonderful to the eye to see. As I was saying, this Silicon Valley Strikers is a team that knows how to win games. And that's a trait that the Thunderbolts would love to build on, learn and build. Yesterday probably was one of those examples where that mindset of how to win games was something that was missing. So a game that looked to be in their grasp, they ended up committing some unnecessary harakiri and eventually losing that game. If we look into the history of this game, some of the better teams to have played and created a long-term winning records like Australia or West Indies, they were the teams who knew how to win games from places which were perilously close to losses. With their backs to the wall, they would always ask the question in their mind, how do we win from here? Instead of some of the other ordinary teams who would probably start thinking, what if we lose from here? And it's a simple change in their mindset that could make a huge world of difference. And that's the end of the second over. It's 8 without loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Andreas Kaus was interested taking a single there. Prajit Modi would have none of it. It was just outside the reach of the bowler who retreated back to collect on his own bowling, and with the mid-on fielder converging upon that as well, Carls had committed to the run. That's the sort of risk they don't need to take here, if you're thinking from a Thunderbolts perspective. And the strikers would be hoping that there would be some of those kind of mistakes driven by the the pure tension of the occasion that might result in a couple of wickets for them. This might be one of those rather boring chases, because the need out here is to just see through all the balls that is there and ensuring that it's a safe kind of chase. So there might not be much of thrill in there, but that would kind of bring in the test. How can a team create opportunities with so little to defend, and for the other to keep their composure to ensure the job is done? One thing is sure, Unmukh Chand as a captain is an aggressive captain. He is on the ball. We saw it yesterday. He didn't relent one bit. His bowling changes were definite. And he clearly had a plan with a lot of insights-backed decision-making for each of the batters. He's someone who is practically making tweaks to his field almost every ball. On the other hand, Thunderbolts would know that Saurabh Netravalkar is one of the strikers' key bowlers. He has a lot of experience playing across different international terrain. He has represented America at the international stage, brings in a lot of expertise-based competence. So they would love to see him through rather than taking any chances against him. And that's precisely what Modi is trying to do out here. Playing defensively. No need to take any risk for them at this point.
Given the opening bowlers, I would have expected them to start with at least one spinner or a slower bowler at one end. But they have just stuck to their...
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Changing bowling, Roman Reifer comes in. Another left-handed bowler. There seems to be a plan out here trying to attack the Thunderbolts with the left-hand seamers that the strikers have. Both Saurabh Netravalkar and Raymond Reifer have the knack of taking the ball across the right-handers. It comes and use the variable pace of the wicket well. They're trying to bowl that short of length line across the batsman, which comes at a slightly awkward height for the batsman to commit to shots. And certainly takes away the V region of the wickets. That doesn't allow the batsman to play the straight batted shots. They will have to try and play the cross batted shots. And that's it. The first one, the wicket gone there, probably after a barrage of short of length deliveries, asking the batters to play cross batted square of the wicket shots. That was a full length ball, and surprised Gauss and that slightly awkward length. Yorked himself and lost his leg stump. That was a brilliant piece of bowling. I would say a lot of credit to the captain out here. He persisted with the left arm bowlers, taking the ball across the batsman and pushing them and forcing him to play those square of the wicket shot. Probably feeding on the insights from yesterday, where a lot of the batsmen played airy-fairy shots in that gully and cover point region to lose their wickets. Well, that was the ploy, but somewhere in there, Raymond Reifer bowled one of the fuller balls on the leg stump. Slightly slower in pace, probably. Gauss played all over it. A big wicket, massive wicket for Thunderbolts there. They would have wanted Andreas Gauss to be one of the mainstays in this chase. His wicket sort of adds a bit of pressure there as James Crosby comes in, number 3. I always feel that these tiny chases, they can be a bit of a pebble in the shoe. It would be irritating to chase. Sometimes tall chases like 160s and 170s come off easily. The batsmen are clear in the head. They have to go and play their shots. There's no muddiness in their thought. But again, chasing 94s and 100s and 120s can create some undue pressure. It's already 1 wicket down. Something to cheer about the strikers. They've got nothing to lose from here. If they can add some pressure, get some wickets, they would create a match of this one. That was up in there again. A full length ball outside the off stump. Drew James Crosby to play a cover shot. That was played up in the air. The closing fielder in the cover, they try and grab that ball with a dive, but it eluded. It completely missed the fielder. And a couple of runs to James there to open his account. Seattle Thunderbolts 10 for 1. I must say they're living dangerously at this point. 10 runs, so it's 4 overs gone, 10 for 1. Interesting times ahead. Change of ends for Kulwinder Singh, and it's a very interesting strategy here from strikers. 3 left-arm seamers starting the attack for them. And the ploy has been to just take the ball across the batters. mix it up with short of length and full length balls, entice the batsman to play drives. They have completely crowded the close-in field on the offside with fielders. There's clearly a lot of insights and thought that have gone in based on the kind of shot selection that Thunderbolts had yesterday. The expectation is that they're going to play in the hands of those close-in fielders on the offside. That was a little more shorter than Kulwinder would have expected himself to bowl. Easy for Prajit to just turn it around the square to pick up a single. A completely different strategy. One team has been using the slower bowlers, and here strikers are using their seamers.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see that a different strategy from strikers. They seem to be doing well at it, though.
They are indeed, and they're trying to probably unearthed a bit of vulnerability in the batters of Thunderbolts. They probably are. They know that they like to play their shots. They would like to get on moving with their scoring and aggression and the run rate. So they will probably attempt making some taking some risks, and they hope to kind of capitalize on that one. It's incredible. I've never seen this kind of ploy. The 3 left-armers opening, and all of them probably in the similar mold. That's wonderfully played. It's a slightly more fuller ball. Prajit picked it up early from the hands of the bowler, was well placed, and tucked it towards the mid-wicket boundary for a couple of runs. "81 more needed from 15.2 overs. I was very impressed with Prajit Moody's temperament last year when I saw him in a couple of games. He clearly was probably nursing an injury. He didn't play the first few games this season, but it's a good addition because he's a very calm head. He's not someone who's going to take a lot of risks. It's a good defense. Having said that, it tried.
Beautiful ball, well ducked, Prajit. So Prajit comes from, he has played in the India Ranji system a bit, and he kind of used to play for the Andhra team.
1, 2, 3.
Play the ball around the ground, find the gaps, take those runs, singles, and eventually take those boundaries. And given the low score, I think this is a well-suited target for him and his kind of a game, where he can keep the scoreboard ticking and kind of score as many runs as he can.
Great insight. Thanks, Jagan, there. It is indeed. It's a great opportunity for him to actually stitch together a good performance and hold the key for this chase. As Raymond Rifer comes back, again that same line, short of length, across the batsman. James Crossworth throwing his bat on that one. The ball was again in the air, this time in the no man's land, but that's the kind of shot selection that Mukchand is banking on, which might cause one to probably lob into the hands of those 3 or 4 fielders waiting in the close-in ring and the offside. But you mentioned Prajit coming through the Ranji system, the domestic system of India. That's the beauty of minor league cricket or the US cricketing system. It brings in so many talent from so many different parts of the world. Optimistic shout there from some of the fielders. The ball clearly pitching outside the leg stump, hitting the pads outside the leg stump. The umpire was just not interested there. Just in the morning, I was sharing the story of Zahid Zakhil, who's not playing today for Strikers, but a great article yesterday in Crick Buzz about him. How against, in some adverse conditions, he had to leave Afghanistan due to the political situation there, and then Wasn't very happy that he had to leave his passion of cricket. But then once he landed here in the United States, was thinking what to do, whether he should get on acquiring a profession that would give him a stable life. One of his friend Nawaz Khan, who was also a player in minor league cricket, reached out and prodded him to try out cricket in the California circle, and that's how he landed up a draft pick in Silicon Valley Strikers. He was a draft pick in the Afghanistan League, which he couldn't play because of the situation there. And against the run of play there, a wicket, and this time it's Rajat Moody. Quite an uncharacteristic shot from him, and we are seeing him playing the straight bat and the defense pretty well. But this time the ball was again a shot of length, slightly that unplayable height came into his body. A slight bit of indecision whether to move out of the way or play a defensive shot. He just a very uncharacteristic swipe hitting back to the bowler. It's a cotton bowl. So the Thunderbolts losing yet another wicket here. Pressure mounting. 15 for 2.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation to be in. Maybe the ball didn't come as fast as I thought it would. And definitely Thunderbolts not in a good position right now. They still have a lot of batting to come with Rishi and Hermeet and Charlie coming in. There's still a lot of batting out there, but right now they need to be more sensible. Stay there, just keep the scoreboard ticking a bit. And that's a way to kind of approach this game. Looks like right now it is
Shadley.
Just came in.
That's an interesting change in the order of the batting. Clearly, with all the left-armers coming into the attack, the Seattle think tank felt it would be good to send a left-handed batsman the order. Also, temperamentally, Shadley has the ability to mix defense and aggression and play out innings. He played a couple of sedate knocks to see Seattle through to some wins last season.
And Shadley is a genuine all-rounder. He's the one who can come in a situation like this and build the innings by keeping the scoreboard ticking. And eventually, when it's required, he can kind of change gears and put some really good blows and hit some really good blows and put some big scores on the scorecard there. So I think it's a very good move by the Seattle Thunderbolts think tank to send in Shadley at this situation to get it more under control and give him the opportunity to kind of show his full potential out here.
Absolutely. And it would do him a world of good to actually bat without a bit of worry, knowing the fact that he does have some prolific players like Adam Crosswaith and Harmeet Singh and Jagrup Raina to come after him. And that's the end of the over, 15 for 2.
Caravans of people out here.
We've been talking about the atmosphere here on the ground, and wonderful atmosphere with music, with some good food, and people from the community, kids having a good fun around the ground, enjoying a game of cricket. A wonderful Sunday to spend watching a good gripping contest as yesterday's hero for the Strikers, Surya, starts his set of 4 overs and almost immediately got the batsman to commit into something fraught with high risk. We did see yesterday that the batsmen were a little indecisive how to play Surya, whether go for attack Once again, it was a slightly wideish ball, inviting James Cross, but it was way outside his off stump. With a required run rate of 5.71, one would ask the question whether it's judicious to even go after a ball that wide, because it was played in the air. There is a short third man waiting to grasp a catch, and there were instances of that kind of dismissal yesterday. So one would wonder how judicious is it on the part of James Crossway to take that risk. And all's good at this point. Shadley does it well. Shadley just kind of tucks it into that vacant short mid-wicket area as the bowler goes there and fields. There's a quick single there. That's the way to do, probably, not take any risk. Play to the merit of the ball. The ones that needs respect, show that respect, and where there's an opportunity, try and pick up some runs. This is the kind of total that probably would not need too many boundaries, as much as it would need a bit of discipline and a lot of calm and composed approach from the batters. "19 for 2. That's more of a preferred way of batsmanship that James would wonder. He plays it defensively with a straighter bat, letting the ball come onto the face of the bat and then turning the wrist around to just guide it into the gap. And that's a very uncharacteristic hoik, as we were talking about Shadley and his temperament. Against the run of things, he tries an expansive hoik over mid-wicket, missing it completely as Pranay Suri changes the pace of the ball. It came a little slow and beats the batsman, all ends up and is castled. Definitely a shot that he would like to forget in a jiffy. End of 7 overs. It's 20 for 3 Seattle Thunderbolts. That certainly spells a bit of trouble for them.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
So the cat is amongst the pigeons. For certain. So Srinivas Raghavan starts his first over. A successful over from Pranay Suri. He's already in wickets today. And it's a bit of backyard cricket right now for the Seattle Thunderbolts as the Crossway brothers are in the middle. That would remind them of the days when they would probably be fighting and playing against each other in their backyard. But this is a completely different situation. They bring in such a truckload of experience between them. They will have to dive deep and bring all of that here to see their team through. A massive opportunity for them to play some decisive innings out here. Srini Raghavan starts there, and as we have been seeing ad we have been saying ad nauseum since yesterday, there's a lot on offer for the spinners out here. There are variable lengths, there is variable bounce, and the spinners can actually cause a lot of problems. So once again, a couple of deliveries there of two different lengths and varied speeds, and both the balls beating the batsman all ends up. Once again, Unmukh Chand, he is a very, very hands-on captain. Clearly there's some gamesmanship happening there. Adam Crossworth probably hoped to get on with the game. Unmukh made some changes, clearly to change the pace of the game. That was not something that pleased Adam. He then started guarding the wicket. Clearly you see there's some conversation going on there between Unmukh Chand and Adam Crossworth. Not sure if that's something that that's needed from a Thunderbolts point of view, but a good cricket game is a mix of everything. Conditions, the weather, the pressure of the situation, the craft of the batters and the players, and of course the gamesmanship. Love the way Srinivas Raghavan is bowled this over. Every ball is different from each other. So 8 overs gone, 21 for 3. This is an interesting phase of the game with the slow bowlers in bowling in tandem, Surya and Srinivas Raghavan. And this is the phase if Thunderbolts can hold their calm, hold their nerves, nurdle their way through for some singles and twos, keep the scoreboard ticking and not take undue risk. They should be able to get a grip of the situation. The asking rate climbing up a tad. It's slightly more than run a ball right now. Adam Crossworth hasn't had any shot of conviction till now. He probably would love to have the feel of the ball on the bat. Yeah, that would probably do him a world of good. Just getting off the mark, but also to feel in the ball in the middle of the bat. He's had a couple of plays and misses. We have seen him through this year's minor league edition. Once he does find it difficult to play the spinners, he does move around the crease, tries to make some opportunities for himself, gets the bowlers a little rattled there. And definitely has a lot of power behind his shot. But the spinners would find there might be some opportunity there if they can use the turn and the variable bounce and pace well against him. But he reaches out there, no harm done, pushes it to the long on fence for a single again. One of the things that Adam brings into this team is he doubles up probably as a coach and a mentor to the team. So having him in the middle is a good thing for any other batter batting with him. He will probably be able to guide them from the situation perspective as well. So it's very quite overdone there. 9 overs done, 26 for 3.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Quick changeover between the overs as Srini Raghavan starts his second. 26 for 3 after 9. That's a tad below 3 runs per over. Wonderfully bowled that ball, slightly flighted and in that good length spot. Drawing the batsman into a drive. Played in the air, taking the outside edge. There are two fielders lurking out there, square of the wicket. Once again, this was slightly more short of length, drawing the batsman in front. James Crosswith played with a slightly horizontal bat there. This is a brilliant exhibition of spin bowling out here from Srinivas Raghavan. He senses that the batsman is nowhere comfortable playing the turning ball. This time the ball pitching and going across the batsman at a height. But somehow James was able to reach in the last moment. The ball was up in the air, but there was no fielder there. Fortuitously for him, gets him a single. Living dangerously, but living nonetheless. That's a good news for Thunderbolts. And that's up in the air, a lame and a tame shot. Once again, it's that indecisive length that the bowlers are bowling right now, which is putting a lot of doubts in the minds of the batsmen. Adam Crosswith clearly committed himself to a back-footed punch. But the ball came up much slower than expected after pitching, and that too at a height that he wasn't expecting. And all he would do is just spoon it up rather, to the short cover position for a absolute easy catch. So a very, very soft dismissal there for Adam Crosswith. 4 wickets down for 27. The strikers are making a match of this paltry 94 that they have scored. Now that 94 is seeming like 144 now. Resources dwindling at quite a breakneck pace for a Thunderbolt. We keep seeing this. They have a long batting lineup. They do have players to come and do the job, but with these relentless and a quick succession of wickets falling, it's immense pressure on the batters who are coming in after this. Harmeet Singh has walked in. He has a job to do on hand. They have held back Rishi Bhardwaj today. One would go and ask the question, this chopping and changing of the batting lineup, how wise it is for them, because each batter has to adjust to a different role, different condition. But definitely there is a desire to send a left-handed batter. They did send Shadley up because there is this relentless attack of left-arm bowlers from the strikers, and they're having a lot of impact on this game. That was outside the leg stump, a rare loose ball, and Harmeet was quick to pounce on that one, sweeping it to the long leg fence, where the fielder does a valiant effort to stop it within the boundary line. 3 runs, 3 very welcome runs for Harmeet. And that's the end of the over. It's 30 for 4.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Surya 1 for 10 in his 2. Ready to start his 3rd over. It'll be interesting to see how Harmeet Singh goes here. He's a by nature attacking batsman. Playing defensively may not be the most comfortable way of playing cricket for him. His natural instinct is to get on with the game. He backs himself to play some big shots. If he can pull those off, that would potentially be a good thing to happen if he can knock off some of these runs quickly. But there's a web of pressure on Mukhchand. Really has used his bowlers very well, and they have responded exceptionally well with bowling some nagging line and length. They've used the variable bounce of the wicket very well. They've caused deceived the batsman with quite a degree of precision and got them committed into making mistakes. The great thing about a league like this is it's not a game, it's not one single game that decides the whole thing. It's a journey. And for teams like Seattle Thunderbolts, it's an opportunity to grow, take their game, take their abilities to the next level. They did go back to the drawing board after the end of the first season and made some decisive changes to their mix, brought in a lot of experience. For example, the Crosswhite brothers brought players like Akhilesh Bodugam, who brought in a lot of different skills and craft to their lineup. They looked solid throughout thus far. But then again, it's also the quality of the opposition. So they were looking forward to this weekend to not just play a team of very high standards like Silicon Valley Strikers. This was also an opportunity for them to test some of their own mettle. More importantly, their mindset, if they can pull off a positive result, beating some of their own monsters. Yet another over gone, and it is 34 for 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Looks like there's a change in bowling, and it's going to be Shehan Jayasuriya. Had a wonderful outing with the bat today, Shehan. He batted completely at ease for the entire duration that he lasted at the wicket. Almost looked like he was batting on a different planet compared to the rest of the other team members. It's incredible to see how each and every striker's bowler has kept the intensity going. Not one of them have relented and given any easy runs to the opposition. It is going to be hard work, that is known. Strikers are not the kind of team that is going to just stand there and let the opposition have an easy victory. They're going to make a match of any total that they put up, and they are definitely putting a fight here. Once again, question asked, ball spinning, wicketkeeper not able to gather that. And once again a bye. A few byes today seen from both the teams, which also underscores the fact that there is some unpredictable bounce and turn that is even foxing the wicket keepers.
I'm not sure if it's unpredictable.
But that's certainly something that is more than that is expected. which is causing the wicket keepers to. And there's a loud appeal from Surya, and it's been given.
No, it's not been given.
It's not been given.
Not been given. He was saying it's missing leg.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I think umpire is expecting the ball to turn quite a bit on this stump, on this wicket.
Umpire Spandia raised his arm to just indicate that the ball was missing the off. To me, it appeared as if he had raised his finger. Though no harm done there for the Thunderbolts, and Harmeet survives.
Oh, spins the other way out this time.
It's a great sight to see a wicket that is so lively, that is bringing so many different dimensions to the game. Otherwise, it becomes unidimensional. That either it's too skewed towards the bowlers or too skewed towards batters. And this time, the ball was a little more on the stumps, and no hesitation from umpire Spandia to lift his finger. Harmeet is clearly not happy with that one.
There was an edge. That's what he's saying. He's still talking to the umpire about the edge from the bat before it hit the ball, hit the pad. Looks like umpire is having doubts, and
there's a lot of conversation going on there. There's a lot of conversation. Harmeet is clearly not sure what's happening there. There's a lot of gestures. There's a lot of animated conversation. Unmukt is involved there. Harmeet is involved there. A couple of other players joining in the fray. Of course, umpire Spandia is right in the middle of the action. It almost appears like some of the players in the striker side is saying, okay, let's get on with the game. I think he's not out. And some of them are saying that no, he's out. Once it's been given, you cannot contest that decision. We'll have to get on with the game. Whereas Harmeet is kind of stuck to his ground. He's still not moved out from there.
But it looks like as if the umpire did change his decision, because that's why striker players are onto the umpire, and now the leg umpire is talking to the main umpire about this, and not sure what's happening in the middle there.
Okay, that could be the fact there, that they're probably asking, you can't change the decision.
Yeah, you can't change the decision when you give it, but umpires can change the decision. Technically, if he missed the little faint edge that Harmeet had on his ball, they can technically change the decision. And looks like umpire decided to change it, and
so clearly the umpire has changed now. The umpire Spandia is having a conversation with Harmeet. Unmukt and Raymond Rifer clearly indicating, asking Harmeet to leave the ground, because one thing is that they will have to play for the spirit of the game out here as well, because there's clearly a lot of confrontation there that's happening.
In what's going on. The bad thing is the players are right in the middle of the field, in the pitch right there, with their spikes on, in the danger area. The umpire should ask them not to step in there.
I think it's Raymond Rifer. He's got a lot to say, and is definitely being, he's making his intentions very clear of what he thinks about the decision. Unmukt is trying to take him away from there. As it appears, the umpires have probably made their decision. And the fact that Harmeet has not left the scene, which means, you're right, Jagan, the umpire would have probably made the decision of giving him out and then changed it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, which is the reason why strikers are contesting the decision quite a bit, whereas umpire seems to be convinced that it did nick his bat a bit. Otherwise, it would have been the other way around, with Harmeet trying to convince the umpire about it. So
it's such a precarious situation out here. It's a wicket Thunderbolts would not want to lose, and obviously the strikers do see there is an opportunity of making further inroads into the Thunderbolt lineup. And the umpires have a job to do as well, but they are well within their rights to make a call, realize the mistake, change it. Fact that
it's tough to be an umpire and be in a hot seat in a situation like this, for sure.
Especially in the modern day context when we've all gotten used to the technology, and it looks like Harmeet is walking off. There was a long conversation that he had with his counterpart, Unmukh Chand, after which he decided to walk off. One would always not know what really conjured up there, but there was a lot of conversation, something that you would never want to see on the cricket field in terms of players having a lot to say to the umpires. They will always want to probably just get on with the game. The good thing is we are getting on with the game now. Probably not the kind of result that the players would have wanted. Everybody wants to play the game in the less disputed manner. In this case, the fact that we are still not in that stage where we could provide technological evidence for clarifying some of these kind of situations. Both the teams well within their rights to contest such situations. It's important for Thunderbolts. Every wicket is important. If that had a bit of an inside edge, they were well within their rights to feel disappointed about the decision. But eventually, the stalemate has been avoided. Harmeet has walked off. The new batter, Rishi has walked in. And Shahan's ready to bowl the next ball. It's 35 for 5 now. Huge pressure right now on the batsman. James Crosswaith, he is holding one end, but there is a bit of a procession on the other end. But this time, Rishi Bhardwaj flicks it onto the leg side. It was in the air, but no man's land. There was no fielder in the closing stage. End of the over. After 12 overs, it's 36 for 5.
Hey, Lucia. Any chance you can help me type a report?
Of course.
You are the best.
Oh, all this says is Q4 report.
Hey, Trevor, how's that report coming?
It's going great. Working on it right now.
We've seen it all today. It's been a good game of cricket. It's been a low-scoring affair. And it's just unfolded into another chapter of drama right now. 59 runs to get. 5 wickets in the tank for Thunderbolts. They have James Crosswaith and Rishi Bhardwaj. Both are very capable of taking the game from here and bringing them home. But the strikers are... have really cast a web out here on the Thunderbolts right now. They bowled with exceptional control. Each of their bowlers have had a strong presence here today. Saurabh Netravalkar, one maiden, 1 run after 2 overs. Kulwinder Singh, 10 from his 2 overs. Raymond Raifer, 2 for 3 from his 2. Pranay Suri 1 for 15 from his 3. Srinivas Raghavan 1 for 5 from his 2. And Shehan Jayasuriya 1 for 1 from his 1. They have been absolutely on the ball, every single bowler. Once again, beating both the batsman and the wicketkeeper. Wonderful, wonderful cricket wicket here. Very true. It's brought in so many different dimensions to the game. This would be a great test match wicket as well. I feel it would be great to see slow arm, slow left arm or slow right arm spin bowlers bowl for considerable duration. At this time,
there will definitely be a result if there's a test match played here. That we can guarantee.
In fact, from a batsman's point of view, it's that kind of a mindset that's needed right here, right now. It's a very test kind of conditions out here. They are tested by so many different dimensions from the bowling side. This turn, that's bounce. It's a quick over done by Pranay Suri. So the end of 13 overs, it's 38 for 5.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Srini Raghavan is back with his second over. The required run rate now upwards of 8. Who would have thought? It's the length that the bowlers are bowling out here, which isn't giving any opportunity for the batters to either get under the ball or get over the ball in the square region where they could play some shots with some degree of confidence. That's one that Rishi has taken. It's gone up in the air, two fielders converging, and it's going to fall in the no person's land between Raifa and Shehan. Chance taken by Rishi. They will have to probably start taking a bit of risk here. And that's the tricky stage where the required rate is climbing. They will have to take some risk, but at the same time, they will have to preserve the wicket. And that was an absolute goner if that direct throw from the fielder hit the stumps. James Crosswaith was well short of his wicket crease there. That's the beauty of this situation now. They will have to start taking these risks. The close-in fielding of strikers has been top of the line. They will have to take those chances. He did take that chance. He was way slow to get into the crease, given up, but somehow fortuitously escaped that. Trying a sweep there after pitching the ball. This time, again, that variable bounce. Bouncing more than expected. Completely missing that piece. But there is some sense of urgency from the batters this over. That was caught in no man's land, neither backward nor forward. So the end of 14 overs, it's 41 for 5. Surya, he just gave a single in his solitary over so far, picked up a wicket. The contentious wicket of Harmeet Singh, but so he's back for from the southern end after Pranay Surya has completed his 4 overs, 1 for 16. 6 overs left, 36 balls, 54 runs. And immediately James Crosswaith opens his arms up. It was a ball slightly outside the off stump. He had the room. And it was slightly full length. Easily done, a single. There's nobody deep on the behind the stump, behind the wicket, on both sides of the wicket. The clear expectation is that the batters would try for big shots in the front of the wicket. Just moved a fielder to the lower third man. There's a question asked again this time of leg before wicket by Surya. This time there was, I think, a little bit of a tickle from the bat.
And both batteries dead.
The batsman is unmoved. The umpire is unmoved. There's a lot of pressure here, and obviously the batsmen, the batters have to overcome all of that pressure situation to ensure they keep up with the. So the run rate, the asking rate, that is climbing thick and fast here. With every ball, it is going up several notches now. Rishi trying a couple of expansive shots out there. Surya is bowling a wonderful tight line. He's bowling into the body and he isn't giving too much of a room for the batsmen to free up their arms and trying something big. And it creates a lot of opportunities for leg before. This time it was a little short and Rishi was immediately on top of that, but as we had explained earlier, all the field on the boundary line, there's very little boundaries that are on offer. End of the over, end of 15, it is 43 for 5.
How did a global retail pharmacy increase orders by 100%? How did a multinational bank build a #1 rated digital app? With people who help leading companies transform through technology. Engineer a better future. Discover how at ust.com.
Srini Raghavan.
10.5 runs per over required now. Silicon Valley strikers have done a great job of containing the score and putting a lot of pressure on Thunderbolts.
Once again, there was a lot of conviction, or at least there was a lot of intent in that appeal from the bowler, and the umpire clearly stating it was going above the stumps. Once again, square of the wicket, and this time it takes the outside edge. One of those rare shots that misses the fielder out there and goes over the boundary. A much needed 4 after a long period of time for the Thunderbolts.
A very welcome boundary for Kerala Thunderbolts, that though it didn't come in a proper fashion, nonetheless they will take that right now.
It doesn't matter how they come as long as they come. And this was one of those rare deliveries that was pitched a little short of length, but gave a lot of room to the batsmen to free up their arms, and Rishi was quick to pounce on it, although it didn't hit the middle of the bat, took an edge, but got a boundary nevertheless. This time it was on the leg stump. Again, it was a bit of a premeditated shot. In fact, Rishi committed himself into the shot. The ball was in a bit of a York length. He didn't see it much, just went on with the shot, took an outside edge again, lobbed in the air but fell safe. James Crosswaith picks this up on a half volley, plays it as Raymond Rifer cleans it up on the mid-wicket boundary, and as a single. There's clearly some intent shown by the batters out here. Question is, can they carry that intent through with this relentlessly high precision bowling by the strikers and maintain the kind of strike rate needed while safeguarding the wickets? There's a lot to do there, and there's not many batters to come for them. And that's an easy stumping there. Clearly the situation got the better of him. A slower ball from Srini Raghavan. He invited Rishi to come down the track. Completely played all over it. And an easy stumping for the wicketkeeper. That's another wicket down for the Thunderbolts. It's 49 for 6 after 16. Saurav Netrewalkar now back in the attack. The last recognized batting pair now for the Thunderbolts. Jagrup Raina has walked in to join James Crosswaith.
This last recognized batting pair has to climb a mountain that's as big as the Mount Si that we have out here.
Maybe a little taller than that. I would say so. It's a great opportunity for a youngster like Jagrup Raina here. He has the shots. Does he have the temperament to do it? But you never say never. Great opportunity for a young man like him to come and express himself, take his team home, do a world of good to his own confidence as a player. Oh, that's a well-played shot by James. Just a single though. At this point, the singles are not going to do much of a difference to the confidence of strikers. And the Thunderbolts need a few boundaries here. And they aren't coming by. I have not seen any shot of immense confidence. There have been a few edges here and there which have brought them runs. So, which clearly indicates there's not much on offer as gifts from the opposition. They are just keeping it so tight. I was just talking about a while back that it's a difference between a team that has got into the habit of winning. They know to win from any circumstance. The voice in their mind is, how can we win from any situation? And the other team is growing in that journey. And probably sometimes the thought that comes into their mind is, what if we lose from here? And it's that little shred of doubt that has the better of them. But they will only grow from here. I always feel that it's a journey that every team builds themselves. Some of the great teams in the history of cricket have shown that they have they've taken some time, but they've grown on that distance. And I'm sure Thunderbolt will build that muscle, that mindset. That's wonderfully played by Jagrup. Placed well towards the third man region as Kulwinder Singh cleans it up. 2 runs for him. Very, very important 2 runs here. th over, and Thunderbolts have just posted 50, 52 now, 6. And Jagrup, that was a ball there to be hit. It was short of length, came at a height where he could have potentially dispatched it. Takes a bit of an inside edge onto his stumps, but he's able to quickly get a single. If there's anyone who can make a big difference here to the Thunderbolt's purpose today, it's Jagrup. He's the shots. If he can play a nice hand here, his shot making can potentially come in handy in achieving this almost 13.26 asking rate. That's outside the leg stump. That's definitely going to be called a wide. Rare wide. Probably the first one of the innings thus far.
Yeah, looks like it. Saurabh is very consistent that way. He just missed this line completely out there. I'm sure James is thinking if he'd have got a bat on that, that would have been a welcome boundary too.
James Crosthwaite has 33 balls for his 21. And this time again, a wild sweep, and that's probably hit the stumps there on its way, and so it's a wicket there. James Crosthwaite living dangerously because obviously he had to go. He had to go for every ball. Now the situation demands that he needed to up the ante. Tried that. The ball hit his pad and then the stumps. So the end of the over, 17 gone, 54 for 7.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Raymond Reifer is the new bowler here. Rohan Pasanapalli. Didn't have much to do today apart from some very good fielding displayed in either of the games yesterday and today. Young talent going through the age group system now. 41 runs needed of 18 balls. There was the big streak of daylight between the ball and the bat that I could see from a distance from here, right, sitting from here. But there was quite over-optimistic appeal. A lot of expression added into that from the wicket keeper.
I think that's one of the strategies to use when they fear that the umpire is going to give them a wide.
Of course, yeah.
So to distract the umpire.
Clearly, the strategy worked there. Sense of calmness amongst the enthusiastic spectators out here. They certainly probably expected a little better performance from their home crowd, but they're still here. They're still optimistic. They're still obviously extending all their support for the home team. They all understand that it's all a journey. Win and loss is obviously milestonic moments, but they're not the end of the day. This is a team that has got a lot of promise, played some wonderful games this season. There's still a lot to play for. They've already won 7 games. That puts them in very good stead for a potential playoff place. But they will also know that the quality of opposition is only going to be better. And this weekend was probably a reality check at a good time for them to go back to the drawing board and work on some of the things like ability to play against relentless tight bowling, how to create shots when the quality of the opposition is better. Oh, that was a wonderful shot there by Rohan Prasanapalli. Picked it up off his toes, flicked it to the square leg, and easy 2 runs there. Honestly, they would be very happy. Thunderbolts would be very happy with their bowling performance both the days. I think they don't have much to complain. Their bowlers have given them a lot of opportunity to go out there and get some points under the belt. It's the batting that's clearly needs a lot of attention for them. And Rohan takes it. This has gone straight to the fielder and long off, and Unmukh Chand is not the one to drop those. It's an easy catch for him. Right on the boundary line, but there was no other option from Rohan other than going for the long handle. So yet another wicket falls. It's 57 for 7 now. As Akhilesh Bodugam, the next man, walks in. What do you think, Jagan, that Thunderbolts could have done differently from a batting perspective today?
I just think that they should have believed a little bit more in rotating the strike. Somehow that doesn't seem to be the case either yesterday or today. Both days they have tried to kind of dominate from their end, which of course for a quality team like Silicon Valley Strikers, they're not going to let that happen. So they should have been more smart about just rotating the strike and taking it deep, which if they had done that yesterday, they would have clearly won that. They were in a much better position yesterday than they are today. Yeah, it's just a little disappointing on how the team has worked together that way. Instead of, playing with each other and achieving the target, they're all trying to go for it by themselves, which does not work well in this kind of situation.
Oh, well said. 18 overs gone, 58 for 8. Very well said, Jagan. I think you hit the nail on its head. That's probably clearly between the two games here, clearly an opportunity area. A couple of things I feel. Batting on a lively wicket like this, which needs a lot more craft. That probably is going to be one thing. And second, this is a team that's very dependent on boundaries and big shots. So probably how to rotate strike, how to play and construct an innings and partnership sometimes when the boundaries are hard to come by and still keep that rotation going and not let the pressure of the scoreboard get onto you. That's a huge area of opportunity that's come up, and it's good that it's come up now. What do you think? I mean, will the team use these conditions to spend the rest of the week, come and practice here and all that? Gain some...
For sure, they should. They should. They should understand this pitch more now that it's available to them. They should practice here more. They should understand the ground conditions more and really make it their home ground, which is the key. And once they do that, then I'm sure when the next team that comes in, there is Golden State Grizzlies out here, they will be much more comfortable and they'll be able to build the right strategies up for their game. It's a home turf, it's a home ground for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have to kind of make best use of it. And I hope they do that.
The good thing is they have the bowlers who've used it very well. So if they can even use their own bowlers to practice, it's the batting and how they can apply themselves in these conditions. And
that's well struck by Jagru, but unfortunately there's a fielder right there who stops it from a boundary and just a single.
Just to finish that thought, I think the quality of bowling that Seattle has, if they can practice along with them, understand and work on their basics of, like you said, the little things about running between the wicket, rotation of strikes, using the gaps well. At this point, I'm so deeply impressed with Unmukh Chand's captaincy. Since yesterday, so many catches have gone to the fielders and the fielders didn't have to move even a step or two. Even now, a couple of shots that are going exactly where the fielder is placed, and that means they're getting the angles right, and he's getting the angles right. So even a little swivel or a cut, the fielders don't have to move more than a step or two. In most of the occasions, they're just standing static, which talks a lot about the precision with which the field placement is going on out here.
Yeah, for sure. And the way he's used his bowlers and all that stuff has been great. So, for sure, Unmukh is totally on top of this game. And great captaincy by Unmukh.
It's almost become a formality here. 35 runs needed from 8 balls. Just 2 wickets in hand. That's a tall ask. Saurabh Netravalkar, last couple of deliveries of his spell. He's been right on the ball through this entire match. 1 for 8 from his 4 overs now. Wonderful spell. And the end of 19 overs, it's 60 for 8.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So Kulwinder Singh to bowl the final over for strikers. It's been a fantastic trip for them. On the verge of picking up 2 back-to-back wins here in the Seattle area. That would do a world of good for their campaign. They came in winning 8 games and they're going to add 2 victories to that. And that's played up in the air by Akhilesh. Above the bowler, there's nobody there, just a single taken. 34 more runs needed now, which obviously clearly puts Seattle beyond contention for this game. But talking of strikers, what a magnificent campaign they're having this year. Haven't lost a game yet. And they clearly, you can see the composition of the team. They're a tightly knit side. They've got a ton of diverse varieties, diverse capabilities in the side. There's a lot of experience in that team as well. They bring in talent from India, from the Caribbeans, from different parts of the world, and there are people who have played in different competitive leagues around the world. And one could see that, I've spoken about it a couple of times today, that they have the understanding of how to win games. And sometimes that's probably the key, most important ingredient in competitive situations like this. A lot to think about for Thunderbolts from here on. They will certainly go back, and I'm sure they will work hard. And there's some players who are probably not played too many games here. One would wonder if this was a good opportunity for someone like it was a good opportunity for Seattle Thunderbolts to experiment with somebody like a Minda Ranavira, someone who's got a load of experience, someone who could potentially have played with a more sedate innings and building and mixing defense with accumulation an approach. That's the kind of approach missing out here. So they will probably definitely go back and think about it. And as Jagan had mentioned in the past, this is also a potential opportunity for them to get some experience on this turf, how they are going to bat here, how they're going to construct innings. The conditions here clearly came in as one of the opportunity areas for them to go back and think about it. And that should be the end of the match, as at the end of 20 overs, it's 65 for 8. And the strikers win the match by 30 runs, by 29 runs. At the end of the day, it's a comprehensive win for the Silicon Valley Strikers. Who would have thought at the midway stage, when we had seen them getting folded for 94, not finishing their 20 overs, clearly the writing at that point seemed like favoring the Thunderbolts to have a point finally against a tough opposition like Silicon Valley Strikers. But that's not to be. The Strikers came in here with a whole lot of intent. They clearly had their backs to the wall, but they believed in the cause, they believed in their potential, and they made it. They focused on the controllables, which was to make it difficult for the opposition, and difficult they did make. Their bowlers bowled to a plan. There was definitely a solid plan in place, put forth by Unmukh Chand, bringing in a barrage of left-arm seamers to begin with. And they had some early strike. Rifer especially, 2 wickets. Netra Walker 1 up top, and that set the tone for the rest of the chase. And they got Seattle Thunderbolts folded up for just 65 in the 20 overs. So from the batting point of view, Andrews Gauss 6, Prajit Moody 4. The only person who probably fared well was James Crossway, that at a strike rate of 61, he scored 21. Chadley scoring just 1, Adam Crossway 2, Harmeet Singh 5, Rishi Bhardwaj 9, Jagrup Raina not out 7, Rohan Pusanpalli for 2, Akhilesh Bodugam 4. So 20 for 8, and after 20 overs, it's 65 for 8. From a bowling point of view, every bowler every bowler bowled very well except for Kulwinder Singh. All the bowlers were amongst wickets. Saurabh Netravalkar 1 for 8 from his 4 overs. 1 for 8 from his 4 overs. Kulwinder Singh none for 14 from his 3. Raymond Raifer 3 for 7 from 3. Pranay Suri 1 for 16. Srinivas Raghavan 2 for 14 and Shayan Jayasuriya 1 for 3. So one would not be at fault to predict that Shayan Jayasuriya probably is the man of the match today, scoring 41 runs when he played 46 in fact when he batted for Silicon Valley Strikers. For the Thunderbolts, it was Funny Samadhri again, 4 for 14 from his 4. And as Thunderbolts batted, it was James Crosswaite scoring 21. But the pick of the bowlers there was Raymond Raifer, 3 for 7 from his 3 overs. So a magnificent win for the Silicon Valley Strikers, capping a very successful weekend here in the Pacific Northwest. They will go back supremely happy, blemishless after 10 games in the league, comprehensively leading the table with 20 points. And that certainly, and Thunderbolts will obviously go back and look at and take a deep hard look of what kind of changes they should be bringing in. What are some of the options that they will have as they start playing the next leg of this tournament? So Silicon Valley Strikers, after 10 games, winning 10, they're on 20 points and their net run rate is 1.65. Thunderbolts still at number 2 with 10 matches after 10 matches, 7 wins, 14 points, 1.04. They had a 1.76 net run rate going into this weekend. That's taken a bit of a denting. So Thunderbolts still in the reckoning for a playoff spot, but definitely they will have to go back and think through hard what kind of strategy they're going to come with as they start with the rest of the games of this edition. But I'm sure they would have learned some tough lessons from this weekend, and they'll take all that learning and plow it back to make it a worthwhile campaign for the rest of the year. Till then, it was great to bring you this weekend of double headers between these two fantastic teams from the Western Region and Pacific Conference. Myself, Sheel Majumdar, signing off for the weekend, and look forward to joining you for the next set of home games of Seattle Thunderbolts in a few weeks' time. You're watching Toyota Minor League Cricket, brought to you by Sunoco. That's all from us today. Thank you and goodbye. And that's it. The first one, wicket draft pick in the Afghanistan League, which he couldn't play because of the situation there. And against the run of play there, gap. And that's a very uncharacteristic hoik, as we. And that's up in the air, a lame and a tame. Either it's too skewed towards the bowlers or too skewed towards batters. And this time the ball was the umpire clearly stating it was going above the stumps. Once again, square of the wicket, and this time it takes the outside edge. One of those rare shots. Batters to come for them. And that's an easy one. And this time again, Miles. And Rohan takes it. This has gone straight to the fielder and long off, and Unmukh Chand is not the one.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.